All right, guys, Copper Cutlass. It's Sunday. I've been out here roughly for maybe about an hour. I actually ran back to the shop to grab tools. But the game plan is today to get some stuff off, start weighing some stuff, and really dig into the core support and start taking weight out of it. I got to take the radiator off. That's been draining. I'm going to take the grills out, the lights out. The quarter glass has to come out. The four-way speakers and the small amplifiers for the speakers have to come out of the quarters. And yeah, we get to go nuts. So essentially, what's going to happen is I'm going to end up putting stationary Lexan glass back here. I already took off my trim, which is nice because it's kind of formed. So it's going to form our Lexan. The window opening is going to hold it all in place in its proper position. And as long as we line it up to the door, we lock it in place. So maybe that's another 20 pounds right there. And depending on how crazy we go, I might pop off the trim panels and cut off a bunch of excessive metal out of the doors. Now, as far as on the front goes, I think I'm going to end up making a radiator top plate out of aluminum. I don't want to just make straps. I like the look of the cover here, so I'm going to do one out of aluminum. And then as far as on this top plate, this is pretty thin gauge metal, but I'm thinking of cutting this all out, flanging a piece of aluminum, and then using nut inserts to screw it into place into here so it'd be a little bit lighter. And then we'll still have somewhere to put our grills and stuff. That's if I do that. If not, then what I'm going to just end up doing is probably Swiss cheesing as much as I can out of everywhere else but the top plate, because that's like my tool tray. But I have to take the radiator out to cut weight. God damn it, of course my fucking air compressor would go off right as I'm talking. I need to get a new water separator. It leaks, so it goes off randomly. But either way, I have to take out the radiator to cut weight out of the bottom of the core support. We're going to cut weight out of here. Once we get the headlight buckets out, we're going to cut weight out of that area. There's a center brace support that is really not needed because I don't have a big, bulky, heavy hood, so I can lose that. That's like at least 5 pounds. I'm going to take off the exhaust, weigh that, because again, this is like a all-out effort to get the car into the 1150 range. So at this point, I'm going to take off the exhaust, weigh the exhaust. It's going to have to go back on so I can drive it till I don't load it up at my house because I can't get a trailer up my driveway. So I do have to drive it to the shop, which is only 2 blocks away, but I don't want to piss off my neighbors with open headers, so I'm mindful about that. But either way, that's the game plan to get everything kind of started today, because I only have today to really make it count. During the week I've been working on my house, and then I might have next Saturday, next Sunday. I got a project with JJ, Twin J Racing, which you guys know from Project Enron. We got something going on. So I'll show you guys what I brought tool-wise to work with. Of course, I got my electric 4-inch grinder, which is my standard. I got my 4-inch long reach cutoff wheel. I got my reversible cutoff wheel. I got an arsenal of batteries for my Snap-on tools, which I brought. I got my drills, couple of impacts I'm going to end up using. I have a ratchet to make things fast for me, 2 drills, bunch of hole saws, and I do have a Sawzall somewhere in here. And I'm starting to realize I didn't grab my Snap-on drill like an idiot. Of course, I always forget something, but I don't think it'll be necessary. The air drill should be more than enough for this project. This sheet metal is pretty thin. I've cut through like, 1/4-inch plate in here with my air compressor. It's only a 30-gallon, so it's got its limitations. But either way, guys, and I know that with air compressors it's about CFM, but with the smaller air compressors your CFM rating is always a little different, not nearly as good as the bigger compressors. So either way, I'll stop boring you guys. We're gonna get to it. We'll make some videos as we go along. All right, guys, so phase 1 of our removal is done. And what I mean by phase 1 is I removed the bulkiest components. I took the radiator out just mainly because I need to remove weight from some of these areas. I am removing the center bracket. It doesn't seem to load it up. This doesn't move. It holds up the hood. So we're going to lose the center support bracket. And then I'm just going to have to make a bracket to support the grills from across. And that's it. I'll do that out of aluminum. So bring you guys over here. Won't kill your time. So this is about 17.8 pounds. I'm going to call it 17. That's that center piece and the 2 bumper brackets and the bulky washers and everything. I'm going to go to lighter, more modern hardware with nut inserts for the fiberglass stuff because it's light. You don't need big bolts, so I can use little 3/8 or even 5/16 bolts with nut inserts, so we're good. The bumper itself was 25 pounds, and the exhaust was 55 pounds. That's a big, so right there is 99 pounds, pretty much 100. I didn't round up or add the decimals, but we're between 99 and 100 pounds right here. At the track, I'm just going to run like 12-inch extensions, and that is it. But that's a huge chunk of weight off of the car. And then in the next phase, I'm going to get into the interior of the car and remove the window regulators from the quarter glass, that, and weigh that. And then from there, we start cutting up stuff in the front. I thought this was going to take me longer, but I'm actually moving pretty good here on this Sunday. I'm pretty motivated. So when we make our fiberglass bumper, obviously it's going to weigh like maybe 2-3 pounds. And we have aluminum brackets that I am yet to locate and set up. But I think overall, man, that's a 1/10 of a second right there, pretty much. So that's, and again, I'm being pretty damn optimistic here that 1/10 in my setup will translate, or 100 pounds will translate to 1/10 of a second on my car, but that would be an 11:58. Where after I'm going to try to get another 50 pounds, and then, so we should be right there, like 11:50, very close, and go from there. But really, you can see we're not doing some people would call this pretty damn drastic, I guess. I don't consider it drastic, because I actually used to drive this car around with a fiberglass front end. It had fenders and a hood. It's all fiberglass. Years ago after I wrecked it, I was pretty optimistic about driving it in the rain with drag radials. I got caught in downpour on the highway. The remnants of that damage is still visible. I straightened out the frame, but I didn't care too much about, so this ear here is still a little bent, but it's not a big problem. And there's actually still a wrinkle at the firewall here. This firewall got pushed back like 2 inches, and I pulled it and I just smacked it down and called it good. When the fender went back and everything, so everything got straightened out, and I didn't really worry about it. It's not an area you see. It might be a little hack, but this is kind of a utilitarian car for me. I race it. I beat the crap out of it. It's not a show car. If you guys go back, you guys saw that 57 Chevy that I did. Well, it's my boss's. I've been, working on it to stay busy in the slow times, and that thing is, a lot of detail in it, so I proved to myself I can build that kind of car. But my kind of car that I would like to build, it really doesn't have to be that perfect. I like clean, neat, and purposeful. As I told you guys, I plan on rewiring the car. This is what I'm talking about. My fans are on weather packs. Everything came right off. I didn't have to fight it. And literally, I think I've been at this maybe an hour. So I had to be careful with the front, because my grills do have some cracks and breaks in them that I've been babying for over 10 years. But anyway, I'll let you guys go. We'll go into phase 2, and then phase 3 will be ultimately cutting shit up. So I'll let you guys go. All right, guys, we are on a roll here. So I got all of the glass assembly stuff out, my speakers, the little amplifiers for the 4-ways or receivers, whatever you want to call them. 34 pounds for everything that was there. So you do 99 from our 99 bottles of parts on the wall. So either way, you do 99 plus 34. That's 133 pounds. We took out 133 pounds without cutting anything. So what I'm going to end up doing is putting Lexan in here. So let me go in here. These moldings, which this is for the opposite side, so disregard that. But either way, say it goes here, right? It actually sticks out about 3/4 of an inch. We're going to go ahead and cut a piece of Lexan to fit that shape. And then we're going to urethane in here to bond it to the plexiglass, Lexan, whatever you want to call it. And then I'm going to go ahead and screw it to this lip where this molding goes. So that's going to hold it there and here. But now the question arises, what am I going to do here? Well, since this is going to be more of a stationary, like it's not going to move, I'm going to cut away some of this seal and shove the Lexan into this run channel in here on the inside so that it stays in there. And then I'll probably do some butyl so that it doesn't rattle. So in case if you guys don't know, the butyl tape is what they used to use for older cars. So along with the butyl, the clips and the moldings and everything would hold the glass in, but the butyl was like a sealant that it's kind of an adhesive. It doesn't really harden up. It gets a little hard over time, but ultimately it's not like a hard drying substance like urethane. So if I need to remove that Lexan, it's just a matter of heating it up. But at that point, if I try to remove the Lexan, even with that butyl, it's going to crack. But I'm using cheap, like home fucking, Lexan that you would use to repair a window temporarily or for projects. So we're not going to go crazy. Again, this is the quarter glasses. I'm not going to go overly nuts and buy like the correct polycarbonate shit because it's just not going to be worth it. For a cheap sheet of Lexan, it's totally worth it if I have to do it every 2 years. It's not that big of a deal. Some guys really get caught up on that, and for me, it's really not that big of a deal. So right now, we're sitting at about 130, and talking with my buddy JJ, I think between the Lexan and the fiberglass, we're going to end up adding between 10 and 15 pounds. Well, I lost 10 pounds, so we're at about 130, and I'm still going to try to lose more weight myself because I do need to lose about 20 pounds, and I'm going to, hit it hard and walk my dog a lot more and just eat healthier. So I lost 10 pounds just eating better, which is, of course, the easiest. The 10 pounds are always the easiest. Sorry, guys. I always worry about being a fat fuck. So either way, I think for now, we're going to take a breather, and then I'm going to come out here and start cutting up on the core support and see how much weight we can get out of that, and that's going to be next. So I'll let you guys go. Bye. All right, guys. Copper Cutlass here. As you can see, I have cut the living bejesus out of my core support. I still need to do final cleanup, deburring, and paint it. I used the 4-inch. I was not smart enough to bring my 3-inch grinder. So I still got to clean this up, shape it up a little bit more. I was going to drill more holes here, but you know what? This thing is already really flimsy. And I am going to have to add some aluminum supports. So I'm going to have to add a brace between this upper part here and down here at minimum, because I cut out this corner and I cut out a big chunk of the bottom here as well. And it wants to, it hasn't collapsed, but it's bouncy. So I need to add a little bit of support. My gaps didn't change as far as, because if the nose of the fenders drop, it'll severely change your gaps. So my gaps are pretty good compared to GM quality. They're slightly bigger at the bottom than at the top, but that's just the nature of the beast when you're dealing with, unless you weld up the gaps, which I wasn't going to do, but I got them pretty good. But either way, that's how I know that it didn't really affect it. It did drop like a 16th when I cut it. But over here, it's still about the same. Everything is good. I can open up the doors. You don't hear them rubbing or anything. So that's good. But we do have to add a little bit of support, which is no big deal. 2 small pieces of 1/4-inch aluminum should be more than enough. Again, this core support really doesn't hold a ton of weight. In the front here, all the core support is going to do is pretty much hold the grills at this point, and that's it. And I still plan on changing the sealed beam glass type T3 to the plastic with the modern style bulbs in them. Just for weight savings. So far, we managed to get like 10 pounds off of this core support with the center support. And keep in mind that center support, like if you got a steel hood, that's going to be important. But since we got a fiberglass hood, we'll be all right. And I do plan on changing the way that my pin-ons go. So I'm probably going to add another aluminum support between here and here for the hood, or I might triangulate it into the part where the other aluminum strut. So if you guys can imagine, I'm going to add a piece from here to here, and then this piece is going to go from like here to support it. So it'll be triangulated, and it'll have a little bit more support, but with aluminum. So it shouldn't add any weight, really, that will register, I guess. But we did manage to take 10 pounds out of it, and I can still attack the bottom with a hole saw. I just opted not to today because I've done a lot already, and it's going to be like 3 o'clock. I've been out here since 9. I got a lot done, but we do have the rest of the work to do. Like, I got to put the exhaust back on, of course, which isn't a big deal, but I still have to make a fucking fiberglass bumper. I still have to do that. So I'm going to clean up. I'm going to get this thing taped up, and I'll make a video about that when I get that ready. But I have to clean up and get stuff moved around. We got to make the Lexan window, but we got a couple of weeks to get all that work done. The core support ate up most of the time today. core support actually looks pretty fucking wicked without anything. Looks pretty ornate. So I didn't want to attack it just the hole saw because everybody does that. So I wanted to cut out shapes and patterns and then do the typical hole saw stuff. But I needed to break it up a little bit. So either way, the tally right now is 140 pounds with everything removed. And I think once we put on the Lexan and on my bumper with the aluminum brackets, we might add between 10 and 15 pounds. So you factor in the fact that I myself have been losing weight. We are literally at 150 pounds right now because I lost 10 pounds in the last week and a half. I'm counting that, all right, guys? I don't know about you, but I'm counting that. So, and we might be able to run the car with a little less fuel. I think when we scaled it, JJ can correct me. I forgot how much fuel we had on there, but it was either a half. If it was a half a tank, I can run this at a quarter tank and still have 4 gallons in the fuel cell. But I'm going to have to put some wedges in the back so that, because right now I have a flat sump in the back. I might have to add some wedges in the back to not have it, slosh forward and the car will break up, which we had that problem at Cordova when I ran it under a quarter of a tank. So I just got to add like a gallon of fuel between runs. Again, this seems like completely overboard, but we are trying for something here. And at this point, like, this is like the last, like, if I'm going to put a roll cage in it, I better lay down a time that's going to warrant it. We ran 11:68. Most people would say, yeah, I think you're going to end up going faster. But before we re-gear the car and put a cage in it, I want to do that. So I do plan on doing like a 430 gear down the road. But for now, we lightened up the car. We're going to see how all this affects it in a couple of weeks, hopefully. But I hope you guys have enjoyed my insanity. I think this is fucking insane. I took apart a car that was not needed to take apart whatsoever. I'm not going to reuse the coolant, by the way. So if you guys notice that there's shrapnel and shit in there, I got to blow off everything in here. And I already blew off the car to get all the shrapnel. I probably should have put blankets over the fenders, but I really don't give a shit. I can buff that stuff out later and be all right. The glass is what you really can't clean. The glass will get chipped up with sparks, guys, so do protect your glass when you do grinding. I didn't because it wasn't going to go that far anyway. By the time the sparks would hit it, it's going to be fucking shit anyway. So I still have to come up with an aluminum top plate, what I'm going to do. And I really don't want to cover up this amazing job I did because it actually kind of looks cool. I like it. So yeah, 140 hard pounds, 10 on my end. That's 150. I also got oil change. Instead of running my usual, which I think with this oiling system I got, which is an old Kenny Bell oiling system, this thing runs at like over 7 quarts. I'm going to run it at 6. In the past, I ran my small blocks with 6 quarts. It never ran dry. About the same almost RPM, about as high as I could spin it. So I think I'm going to run 6 quarts as well for less drag on the motor and windage and all that shit. So again, we're trying all the little things and we're going to see what happens. Maybe nothing happens, but hey, at least we tried it and it didn't really cost us much. The car needed an oil change. I think I spent the resin was $435 and the cloth and all that stuff. I think I got maybe $70 between the wax and the tape and everything. So really, not that much. So either way, I'm going to let you guys go. Share, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I mean, the car ran in 11:68 back-to-back in the fall. ET predictions, they're always controversial, but let me know what you guys think. Obviously, if I dropped 150 pounds, that's a tenth and a half. But, goddamn compressor always goes off right when I'm talking. Shut up. So, obviously, we're going to be running a little less oil, a little less drag there. And, but we did, we were moving quite a bit of weight. And I technically can still take out the passenger seat if I really wanted to. But I'm not going to do that. So, I guess at minimum, this thing should see a low 1150. And maybe we might get better weather than last time and see how that goes. So I know the baro is very important. And so we're trying to use everything to our advantage here without adding more power to the car through the motor or something else. So this is a little insane, but whatever. We'll let you guys go. I'm sure I bored you already. Share, like, subscribe. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, go ahead. I recently have been kicked off of Facebook for like the next 4 days or something. So, ha ha ha. So either way, I'll let you guys go.